I always knew I'll never quite have a Romeo and Juliet again, because just the crossroads of that cast, Shakespeare in Mexico, that music, everybody was unknown, an unknown Leonardo, an unknown Claire, you know, a very just beginning to be, you know, Don Leguizamo. The list goes on. That's what I remember. Now I'm getting all nostalgic. Never happen again. When I set out to make a movie, what I first asked the question of is, what might drive me to really passionately and absolutely give myself to the process of making this?
What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
I think probably my inspiration was that I, as a kid, found Shakespeare impossible to grapple with. But I had the good fortune to see a modern production that had translated it into Club Med, actually, Twelfth Night. And because of that, I always thought, I understand it now. Like, Shakespeare had to play to both high and low audiences. Shakespeare, you know, he invented 1/4 of the English language. Like, he just made words up. I want to address the question, if Shakespeare were here today, how might he make a movie? So every decision in the film, whether it's like pop music, Shakespeare took popular music from the street, put it in the movie. Stand-up comedy, you know, at the beginning, from me, every decision came from an analysis of what would Shakespeare, the ultimate street writer, you know, the ultimate rhymester, how would he sort of try and make a movie? Now, we don't really know what he would do, but we do know he would try and play low and high. He was derided for being populist in his own time. So that was it. I just wanted to kind of open the door to an audience in the way that the door to Shakespeare had been opened for me when I was younger. We were originally going to shoot it, I think, in Vancouver, but, you know, for a hot kind of visceral, sexy place, Vancouver is great, but probably not the best location. And so we end up in Mexico with, you know, I think 19, 20-year-old Leonardo and young Claire Danes. It was just incredible. I mean, Claire, you know, was so mature beyond her years, like Juliet, actually. And, you know, John Leguizamo, I mean, all these young actors. You know, in the play, Romeo and Juliet just sort of meet through a curtain because it was a theatre convention. Trying to work, how could that be a surprising way of meeting? And Craig Pearce and I are riding in Miami. We went out and I went to the bathroom. It was a place called The Dome. And I came out, there was a fish tank. And I'm washing my hands and I look, there's a girl. She was like combing her hair on the other side of the tank. And exactly how it is in the movie, this Dome nightclub had a fish tank separating the boys and the girls, kind of chambers, not the bathroom. So you go to the bathroom down there. And I just went, perfect, I'm gonna do that. And it was so technically hard to build that fish tank. It broke once. And because Claire was a minor, she could only ever be on the set such a short period of time. So it all had to work. That shot where you go from her to Leo and all of that, that all had to work within a very, very tiny piece of time.
Art thou hurt?
Aye, a scratch.
When we shot Mercutio's death, we built everything on that beach. It was in Veracruz on the east coast of Mexico. Like a hurricane came in and we built everything. We're about to shoot the death scene. And all the young actors got together and we were wearing sand goggles, you know, and we go like, we better get out of here, you know, we gotta get out of here. It was like sort of being in a sandstorm in a desert. And they said, no, we've come this far, let's just do one shot. So we do the one master shot, and it's the shot where Mercutio's dead and Leonardo's got him in his arms and he's crying. And he runs to the car right up in the background in his silver sports car and drives off. It's all in one shot. And we shot that shot, and then the entire set, everything, we got out of there, the hurricane just wiped out the entire beach. That was it. So the rest of the scene was actually picked up. I post-produced in Skywalker Ranch in San Francisco. We went down to San Francisco Bay and we had a big fan. And I think Sam was holding up sort of polystyrene bits of the set. People were throwing sand and all the close-ups are done basically in San Francisco Bay. But that was after we shot for like a year or something in Mexico.
I do, but keep the peace. Put up thy sword. Or manage to part these men with me.
Peace. I hate the word.
The most challenging scene, by far, was the gas station scene. Because one, we were all kind of ill. You get ill on movies, you just do. And two, it was like incredibly hot. But it was a real gas station in the middle of Mexico City. So, and I'm doing a sort of Sergio Leone Western. And, you know, we blocked off traffic and it was the fumes, and you can imagine middle of Mexico City, guns and all of that. And there was a scene I remember, Dash Myhawk had to run out and run up the road like shooting, you know, all this kind of thing. And he ran up the wrong road, and the traffic's all standing there like that. He ran up the wrong road, and guys were getting out of the car, and he's on top of the car with a gun going like this. I mean, it sounds funny, but we were terrified. That was very, very intense period of shooting.
My love. My wife.
My favorite scene in the film to shoot actually got permission to shoot the death scene in this incredible church in the middle of Mexico City. You know, we had that actual helicopter that attacks Leonardo. That was we shot it real. Everything was real. And it was the middle of maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. And just this vast cathedral full of neon signs, neon crosses and flowers and candles. And really in the end, because I wanted a very quiet set, it was just myself, Leonardo, Claire. And I walked in the church on my own just to feel it. I did that walk that Leonardo did, walking right down. And they were just down, sitting, rehearsing a little, and I came down and started rehearsing with them. And it was such a serene experience. And I actually went, wow, I was walking back, it was a warm night, and I'm actually enjoying doing this. Don't think I've ever had that feeling before or since. When Juliet wakes up and finds Romeo, she's missed him, and she breaks into that emotion. It was so strong, and she didn't try to do pretty crying. She just poured true emotion out. And in that vast cathedral, and you know, I think I'm doing a long shot. There's me and like very small camera crew. It was really haunting and beautiful. It was kind of like it is in the movie. It really was like it was in the movie.
Oh, me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I've heard it all.
With Romeo and Juliet, I made it purposely so it couldn't be dated. And in fact, we meticulously tried to take anything out that you might say, well, that technology. Like one stage, Mercutio had a Sony Walkman. Don't do that because that technology will disappear. And Leo was like, yeah, you better watch out for the rollerblades because, you know, that'll disappear too. We're like, oh, that's cheesy too, so let's get rid of that. But it was about neutralizing, so you couldn't date the movie, yeah.
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. I
mean, I think why it endures, why people really connect with it, and of all ages, is it's inherent in the play because it has young love, but it's actually about the adult world. It has action, right? But it has romance. It has comedy. It has drama. It's set in an exotic location. It has all those things, and I simply found a way of amplifying those things, amplify the comedy. Put the popular, you know, Shakespeare put popular music in his plays. We put popular music in the play. But I think really, if you get the central characters right, then the play does the rest of the work. And all I did was work with a hugely creative crew to amplify and illuminate what the play carries. And that is why Shakespeare is so endearing.
But thou love me? Let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death broken.
People who are now adults kind of get a bit funny around the eyes when they talk about Romeo and Juliet. You know, like they might talk about Moulin Rouge, but with Romeo and Juliet, they get a bit still. And I think it's because they're remembering their first, you know, physical awakenings while watching the movie. I'm not sure, but people get intense and strange about it in a really nice way, but in a way isn't immediately easy to decode what they're going through.
Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say goodnight till it be morrow.
I'm just happy that 25 years later, it isn't like, oh yeah, you made that, you know, like people actually, audiences, fans, non-fans, there's still a visceral energy around the show, around the story, around the movie. And that means I don't feel so old.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.